Good evening, and first of all, a happy new year from myself and all of the Spurs diehards team. As we, however, enter a new year, but with an all too familiar story, as the match finishes, Tottenham Hotspur 1. Sunderland 1, and a very disappointing finish to the day it was too. With me tonight, and hopefully Tom will get on later, but if not, still two stellar guests. First of all, Harry Scarf from Scarfy TV. Good evening, Harry. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. Thanks for having me again. As you said, New Year and same Tottenham. Ultimately, so that is frustrating. If people who don't know me, I tend to be more positive, and I still look at that and go, it is 2 points dropped. But there are things I want to take out of it, and I think, context is important. The bigger picture is important. I think right now, we are a bit of a broken as a club, and I think it lies more than just the manager. That's how I feel. I think there's more to it, but also I think we can get it back on the road very quickly with a closely congested table. But I just want to say Happy New Year to everyone, and thanks for having me once again.
Yeah, and my partner in crime, Adrian, good evening to you as well, sir.
Yeah, I'm back from the game. I've defrosted 2 bowls of stew, cup of coffee by my elbow, so I'm ready to talk about the game, and a happy new year to everyone out there.
Yeah, okay. 22 of you on already, which is great. Usually goes up as we go through. Yeah, right, numbers rising in front of my eyes. So please hit the like, please hit the subscribe button if you're not already a member. But let's, first of all, if we can start off with the team. Harry, your thoughts on the team, because it was something of a change.
Yeah, it was a huge surprise in there. I can't find Ben Davies' name in there, but Ben Davies did start the game, which was a huge surprise. I mean, we'll get into it, but not many people thought he would start, and especially not score. So that was honestly, a huge surprise. Banner says there, Davies back. That was a surprise. I think right now Frank needs as much experience, as much leadership as he can get. Ultimately, I think right now, when times are desperate, managers will always go to those more experienced heads that can just bring calm and bring younger players together, bring the team together, that sensible voice in the dressing room. Davis ticks every one of those boxes. I mean, for me, I think we shouldn't be having to rely on him in 2026. And I think that's a shame on the owners. And I cannot, speak badly enough of the owners. And, because we've got a new look board here, and, this is treated as is something different, but it's not. It's the same people. It's the same problems. Nothing at all has changed. I mean, I know it's early days and I like the patience, but tomorrow will be the 5th of Jan, and we've sold Brendan Johnson with absolutely no idea who's going to come in and replace. And it wouldn't surprise me if we don't bring in anyone, because he let 3 left wingers go and didn't sign 1 in the summer. This is nothing new again. So that really frustrates me. I think it's a big problem that we're suffering at the moment. But with the team, I have no issues with it. I think Frank, again, is experimenting with what he's got, which is not a lot. It's like being given, literally nothing. To build a house, you just got a small bag of cement. You expected to build a mansion. You're not going to get very far in the short or long run. That's the way I look at it. But Davies being back was good for what he can bring off the pitch. But I'm incredibly frustrated today. But it's good to see Davies back in the lineup. And again, it's the experience he brings.
New wine in old bottles, Adrian, or a bit more than that?
Well, no, I'm not whining at all. Yeah, Davis. I think he put Davis in. I assume, or surmise, because he's left-footed and gives us a bit of balance on the left rather than having Spencer and giving Spencer rest. I was actually surprised Gray would start because that was his 7th game on the spin. So you got to be careful. So I think we'll see Bergvall start away at Bournemouth. Yeah, the team lineup, because we've got a number 10, we're trying to fix square pegs into round holes, aren't we? Even with Odebert there or Kudus there or whatever. Me, personally, I would have preferred Moani to be there behind Richarlison, and then you've got Odebert on one wing and Tell on the other, or Kudus on the other. And I just think that would be better. And I think Moani would be more effective, more centrally than he is out wide, because he's not frightened to charge at players and take them on. Yeah, but as Harry alluded to, he didn't really have much choice team selection wise.
No.
We don't know how fit Bergwall is. So, yeah, I mean, I wasn't unhappy when I saw the lineup. I thought, okay, that looks an attacking lineup, not a defensive lineup. And,
well, I mean, I was on Project Spurs yesterday with Gary and Cow and a couple of others. And my complaint, Harry, about the game at Brentford was we didn't set out with any intention to win the game. I can understand if Brentford are a good side. And if you don't win against a good side, then you don't win against a good side. But my issue with Brentford was we showed no signs of being remotely interested in winning it. That team, though, did have attacking intent.
He did, yeah, 100%. And firstly on Brentford, I think you're right, and it's incredibly frustrating. But I've no problem with us sitting in. But any defensive team will and should have a plan to counter-attack. And in that game, I believe we had no intention of scoring. And I think we're just waiting for a mistake in or a scrappy set piece, which you're all good on, to be fair. And then you have to have more of that as a side. We're Tottenham Hotspur at the end of the day. I don't think the result is bad at all, but it's just the fact that we weren't interested in winning the game. Should always be interested, even if you don't end up getting it. That's my point. But in this game, yes, more attacking look to the team, and it was good to see what I call 4 attacking players in there. It wouldn't have been right again to go 3 defensive midfielders against what is a defensive side. Again, we'll get onto it, but I don't think Sunderland had anything at all going forward to the latter stages where we encouraged them and they made the right substitutes, the right in-game management. That's been a story in Sunderland's year. Stay in the game, make the right substitutions, have a go, be brave, be physical, be aggressive, and they always find a way to get something from the game. And away from home, they do struggle. So, if we're not going to get a result at home, we're going to really struggle. I know we're good away from home, but the Stadium Light is a tough place to go at the moment. Unbeaten there. So I'm not looking forward to that. But Ian, the lineup was more attacking, and the performance reflected that in the first half.
So interesting thought, Harry. That Adrian, let me bring you in. An interesting thought from Harry that that effectively that they were better coached than us.
I thought Sunderland were poor in the first half. They hardly laid a glove on us, and we should have took advantage of our domination and scored more. We started brightly. We had a shot in about the first minute. That must have boosted our XG, and then we had a few sort of half chances. We got into good positions. We was doing well down the flanks. I thought Tell and Odebert looked good. I think they both had fair games, and then of course Odebert's had to come into the middle, isn't he? Once Kudus come off because Moani went out on the right, on the left rather. So yeah. And I just thought we were good in the first half, and it's just thought. But you always thought, are we gonna get punished for this only going in 1-0 at half time? It should have been more. It was a good first half, and I thought Gray and Bentancur. You all say we play well and Bentancur plays well. I thought Gray and Bentancur were very good in the first half. I thought they both had decent games, to be honest with you. But like I mentioned earlier, this is Gray's 7th game on the spin, so I don't know how the science team work out whether you're in a red zone or not, although we're limited with the choices in midfield we can pick now. So I thought it was a good first half. Second half, but we know in the second half when a team's 1-0 down, they're going to have to come at you. They might as well lose 2-0 rather than.
Yeah, but I'll come on to the second half in a minute if I can, Adrian. Harry, Tell playing left wing, Odebert in the 10. Happy with that?
It's interesting, isn't it? I think Matthias Tell is a striker, but of course, has been moved out of position at Bayern Munich to cater for Harry Kane. And as a player, I think versatility is one of the greatest things, but also one of the worst things. And what I mean by that is great because you're easier to be selected when you can play more than one position, but also it tells me that you're not good enough at your position. The fact that you're relied upon, maybe, but the fact that you're rotated and loads of different areas. And we have a lot of players in at Tottenham that we have because they're versatile, but because they're not good enough also. That's the problem. And you could lose a lot of players. Tell, Odebear, Richarlison, Wani, they're not good at one position. That's the problem. So they're played in 2, 3, 4 positions and they do okay or they do a job at. Richarlison's probably the best of a bad bunch at the moment with his form. But for me, I don't know why we're not playing Odebear right wing, because at Burnley, for me, he was slightly more effective on that right-hand side. So like when Kudus goes off injured, put Odebear on the right, in my eyes. I don't want to see Mwani hung out to dry on the right, on the left, wherever it may be. I actually think he's woeful. I'd go as far as saying that, out of position. I don't think he's a bad striker. I don't think we signed the right player. I'm in no doubt about that. But I think he's dreadful at left or right wing. It's like, he's clearly, like Adrian said it, square pegs in round holes. It feels very much like that with Mwani out of possession. It feels like we're trying to get a tune out of something that's broken and just isn't going to work, and that I find frustrating. And again, that goes back to upstairs, that we're having to fiddle around with, kind of chess pieces that are out of position, or figure out with, things that aren't working, put it that way. That's what I find frustrating. But yeah, it's not what I would have done, Ian. But at the same time, we should be doing a lot better, even with, for me, my eyes, not the right team being out at different points, or not in the right position is a better way of putting it.
Adrian, I mean, a couple of points that one I haven't raised yet was the formation was different. This was very much a 4-2-3-1 with Gray and Bentancur holding, but allowing the four attacking-minded players, Kudus, Odebear, Tell and Richarlison, license to go forward.
I still think we'd have been better if we'd more, as Harry's alluded to, players that appear to be jack of all trades and master of none, right? But then you've got to let them play in one position for a few games, so as they get confident in that position. Mwani can play on the left, right? I've seen him play on left and play well. And as we haven't got a 10, like I'd say, just playing behind Richarlison and have your two wingers either side. If you're going to go Odebear and Tell, or Odebear, or with Kudus, two of those three, have the wingers either side. I think Mwani would be much more effective through the middle, behind, playing off the striker, and he knows that area well. So
I'll keep on with you on this.
Go on,
Adrian. He wasn't helped. Thomas Frank wasn't helped by losing Kudus. I mean, it's almost sod's law, isn't it? You get rid of your right wing backup player, given Kulusevski's not fit yet, and inevitably the one player that gets injured is your left wing, your right wing starter.
Yeah, and also that way that works out. I mean, Brendan, Maddison, Kulusevski, right, and Solanke were our top 4 scorers last year. The four of them were our top 4 scorers. Forget about who's gone. Forget about Sonny gone and all. They were, as well. So basically, we've taken all our goals from last year, and we're now thinking like where we're going to get goals from. I don't think we're going to get a solution to this until we get a creative player in there. Then I think, like, if we had a creative player in there today, we may have had this game sewn up at half time, because we dominated.
Funnily enough, if anyone else, I watched the Celtic Rangers game yesterday. Celtic should have had the game put to bed at half time. Should have easily been 3 up and had Rangers buried. It was 1-0. Rangers came out second half, and you probably all know the score. Let's move on then. I mean, so you always look back on the game, having seen the whole game. But if you were analysing the game for the first 20, 25 minutes, Harry, you'd think we're playing pretty well. This is a big improvement on what we've seen in the last 3 or 4 games.
Yeah, 100%. First half was a lot better. I didn't see it because I was at work, but again, I've watched
Right.
some of the first half back, and I had a couple of people report to me about the first half that I set them a task to do. And no, they were just highlighting that we were good in that first half, we're up for the fight, and a lot of things that Frank and this team have been criticised for apparently had changed. Tell looked good, and we just looked more attacking. Like I said, Bentancur as well, getting licensed to go forward. So, no, first half was good. With intent to attack. And the problem is, on paper, this just didn't seem right for Tottenham before a ball was kicked. We knew that Sunderland would sit in. They've done it in every game. And Sunderland, since they've joined the Premier League, they play the same way, by the way, now, even though they're probably or incredibly likely to be okay, even if something dramatically went wrong. They play the same way, and that's the aim, to get a draw in every single game they play. And it's banks behind the ball, it's parking the bus, basically. So we knew how we're going to set up. Sunderland are obvious in that way, but what isn't obvious and what more teams struggle to deal with Sunderland is the fight. They underestimate, I think, what Sunderland can bring later in the game. As much as we crumbled in later in the game, Sunderland got the substitutes right. They honestly took up 2 or 3 gears. Key changes like McKeely going right back made a huge difference. Someone said it earlier, though, and I'll say it again, Sunderland had a lot of players out through AFCON. We do as well. Sarr, we have players out. I'm not saying that, and we know that, but Sunderland were a little bit there for the taking. They were vulnerable. They were fragile in that first half. They weren't secure, and they're defending for the first time. This is 6 players. There you go. I thought it was 5, but 6. That's incredibly frustrating.
I think it's 6 as well.
Frustrating.
Yeah, but then you've got to take in consideration players we've had out all season, not just today. So Sonny's gone as well. So
absolutely, but I think
that's an even argument.
You're right, but a lot of them we knew about, and that's why I'm so frustrated with upstairs. We knew about Kulusevski, for example. We knew that Son was leaving. If you listen to the way Son spoke, I wager bet he made his mind up at least 2 months ago, if not before. Probably before the season even ended, he made up his mind. And it frustrates me that we know about these things. Like now, Johnson's left. We all know it. He's no longer here. Come on, are we looking for a replacement? I mean, I'd love that to be the case. It's not happening behind the scenes, but I've seen no concrete leaks. Well, I've seen concrete leaks to nobody. I don't know about you guys. I've seen nothing. Ian, you'll know because you speak to a couple of insiders here, but it's nothing, is it?
Gonna come on to it, but I mean, I spoke to Callum before coming on air, and I've got nothing solid. So we're going to talk about a few things we don't normally do, which is a few rumours and 1 or 2 other bits. But let me just have a quick go through the chat. That's the team. Happy New Year, same old Tottenham. Yeah, indeed. Wayne Bonner, a long-standing supporter of this and a number of other shows. Evening, Wayne. Yeah, fell asleep listening to the game on the radio. Did we play shit? No, I don't. The first half we didn't. But the comment from I can't even, MKP. MKP. Oh, who's that?
I just think he's spot on what he's saying.
Right. Yeah. Saying yeah. But then Roger. Good evening, Roger. Evening, guys. A very decent first half, let down by some Malays in the second. Yeah, I'm going to come on to that as well. That's an interesting thought. Take a punt on Robbie Keane. He's doing. Is it Fenerbahce he's at or Ferencváros? I can't remember. One of the Hungarian side. He's doing well. The question there: what was Kudus' injury? It looked like a thigh strain, but but we'll find up. Sorry, and Harry's comment. As I think we're sort of all on the same thing here, aren't we? Hi, gentlemen. Another day, same bollocks. Yeah, same shit, different day, isn't it? That's the. Don't think it was a creativity. Rishi Rennie, so we need a finisher up top. Yeah, I still think we'll come on to this, but I definitely think we need a bit more quality, a bit more guile that we don't really have. There's a lot of huff and puff merchants, but there's not really that much quality behind them. But anyway, that Graham, good evening, and if you can't stick around. Well, good to see you anytime you're here. Let's talk about the goal. Let's talk something positive, Harry. You didn't see it. Let me talk to Adrian. My good lady's just brought me a cup of tea. So thank you, Mandy. Live on air. 30 minutes, Davis goal, training ground routine. If you haven't seen it, I mean, it came up, I think, on the television just before the goal, had the corner. Arsenal, I think, have scored 11 goals from set pieces, and we'd scored 9. The ball went over far post. Romero backed away from the far post, nearly fell over, but kept his balance, put the ball into the area. Mickey put a ball in from about 7 yards that was probably going in, but Davis diverted it into the other corner, 1-0. But good goal, Adrian, to score, not a great one to concede.
Yeah, it was a good goal to score. I mean, we were buzzing around their penalty area. We had, we got some good positions. And like I say, we had a few half chances we should have done better. The thing with Richie, when he that was a good goal, but the thing with Richie and all that around the box, I mean, like when he has a shot, I mean, I spoke to a coach once. He said he'd rather a player hit it wide or miss the inside of the near post than hit it straight at the goalkeeper to look good. Look at me, I've had a shot. You know what I mean? But the goal we scored, no, the goal. First, I thought was a deflection because I'm right down the other end, high up.
Yes, of course you are. Yeah.
You know, so like looked at it and I said, "Who scored?" And then it come up like, and the crowd. I mean, they love Davis, so like they really got behind him. Like the crowd were very good today, and it was a good crowd, good capacity at the crowd, and they kept going all the time.
Davis was very solid. I don't know. He's one of those players. You go back even further than me, Adrian, but there always seems to be a player that the fans love to hate. And Ben Davis has been that player for some considerable time. And yet, to me, he very rarely plays badly. And even if he's not at his best, he's always giving 110%.
Well, unless Spence, he was on the bench, Spence. So if you're on the bench, you're fit. You should be fit to take the field. So unless Spence has played, I haven't counted his games. Too many, might be in the red zone or got a slight knock. Players always carry knocks through the season. Or maybe Frank, I can only surmise that he's left-footed. Let's have a bit of balance on the left-hand side going forward. Well, he scored, didn't he, going forward? So
yeah,
what was he doing there? You know what I mean? So fair play to him. Like, great servant. I think he's been at this club longer than Kane and Son. I think 11 years now, something like that. And like he's just been a fantastic professional for this football club.
Sorry, my phone's just buzzed with a message from Harry, but it's nothing I need to worry about. He's not abandoning ship yet. Harry, Ben Davis. Maybe some people in the chat might want to comment as well. You heard my view. He's one of those players that he plays well within his limitations. People say he's got too many limitations, but he gives you 110% every game and then some. Doesn't deserve the stick he gets.
No, he doesn't. And, I like to joke to myself that, it's sell by date is gone. But at the same time, hand on heart, I think he does a great job. And you need someone at the club, right? Every club has it in terms of, like, if you look at Everton, Seamus Coleman, Chelsea, it was Azpilicueta for years. And I'm not saying it has to be someone that's like way, way past it. But even like Chelsea, Thiago Silva, by the way, all these players I mentioned have different abilities and offer different things. One thing they have in common is experience. One thing they also have in common is, they help young players settle. That's very, very key. And, right now at Spurs, I do believe there's problems probably in the dressing room. You hear things like the Brennan Johnson sale didn't go down well. I think that bonding's probably more difficult than ever. And of course, when times are difficult, you need someone to come in and go, look, boys, let's remain focused. Let's, keep delivering for the manager. Let's keep on track, keep on path. And I think Davis just does a lot of work that goes unrecognised, and he's a genuine good guy as well, by the way. I know that doesn't have anything to do with his football ability, but that's worth added in there. I think he's really reliable, really dependable. I would trust Ben Davis more than I would some of these players that Moani that I've mentioned out of position. I'd much rather play Davis out of position because I just rely on him to do a better job. And Davis hasn't got the pace, but he's got the experience. He uses his body when he needs to, and I think he played okay. But we shouldn't have him. we shouldn't be having to rely on him, put it this way, in 2026. But again, that comes from upstairs that we're having to. And if you look at our bench, it's hardly inspiring. And that just shows, I think, how much we've fallen in standards under these owners year after year. But incredibly frustrating. But for Davis, good to see him back on the pitch, honestly. I mean that he's a good player, still got a lot to offer with his experience. And I think keep him around, coaching badges and in the dressing room, I think is the right thing to do. Or maybe Spurs are being clever and tactical, just trying to raise his value to sell him in the window. I put that one out there to
that would be typical Tottenham. Adrian, obviously you were at the stadium. Excuse me. So you're at the stadium. You go down for the halftime cup of tea and whatever, and people are talking. Was there a view that this is far from safe? We've had a lot of the ball. We've had a lot of the game, and we're only one up, and we've stored up trouble for ourselves by not scoring more.
No, actually, it's a bit the opposite. Where I'm sitting with a few regulars around me, comments of, "Oh, how long's it been since we've been winning 1-0 at half time?" That was the sort of comments that were going around. The crowd were good. I mean, they were very good behind the team today. And like, so I didn't like. There wasn't no. Well, I didn't sense it at all at that stage. Like, I think more comment was, "Oh, we should be 2-0 up at least to half time," And if we had been, that would probably have been a bit more just on it. But we just don't seem to be able to finish our dinner, do we? And I think it's just the phase we're going through, But we only let one goal in 3 games, and we got 5 points from 3 games. So it's not disastrous. It's just that it's
not disastrous, but it's not good enough.
No, it's not. It's like win one, lose one. It feels like that. And to come away 1-1, it does feel like 2 points dropped. It does. I mean, we'd gone 14 games playing Sunderland before unbeaten, so today's 15. But we should have killed them off today. They were there for the taking, really. First off.
Harry, let's talk about the second half. I appreciate you didn't see all of the game, but Sunderland came out as you would have expected, and they were very much on the front foot.
Yeah, absolutely. Different side, re-energized. And Sunderland, the whole game plan, I promise you, would have been 0-0 or 1-0. They're not too bothered. What they are bothered about is staying in the game. If it goes to 2-0, 3-0, then they've got a problem on their hands. But every game they played in, it's to keep in the game and it's to re-galvanise at half-time. I promise you this. And they've got a substitute bench that it looks okay now, but it looks pretty impressive when they got everyone available from AFCON because they invested in the summer. The recruitment was good, but also a lot of people be lazy and go, yeah, but Sunderland have spent so much. They brought in so many bodies, but also that's credit to the manager and how he's made them gel. It's very difficult. Forest nearly went down in that first year. They spent all that money under Mariakis because it just doesn't take time to gel. It just takes time to gel. Rather, it doesn't come together straight away, I should say. So that's again important to note. But they come out, didn't they? Second half, firing different side. Not initially. I thought it took some time. They grew into it, but in the end, they just looked at us and went, "Spurs are backing off. We've got momentum. Let's drive them forward." There's one key denominator: it's Granit Xhaka. He drives everything forward. The experience and just his passing. Honestly, you didn't really realise it at Arsenal. Again, it's a case of like a player like that stands out at a smaller club, not a smaller club, but in terms of lower down in the league. He's honestly amazing.
I think you've hit the nail on the head, Harry. I think as a small fish in a big pond or a fish in a big pond, he didn't stand out at Arsenal. At Sunderland, he stands out. And he makes other players around him play better because of his knowledge, his experience, and his not inconsiderable ability.
Yeah, and you were watching on the telly, so I've got a question because Robbery scored their equaliser. I thought it was lucky to stay on the field. I thought the referee was a bit lenient with some of them Sunderland challenges. We know they're a physical team, but that's probably my bias at the stadium. You know what I mean? When you got all the fans around you. So
I think the overall. It wasn't one of those ones you said, "Oh, he has to go off." And the thing, yes, he could have, but you see so many incidents in so many games. I mean, people talk about the Andrews, the Brentford manager, said, it was at Brentford. It was a clear dog zone. It was a foul by Romero on what's his name? Thiago. Is that it? Thiago. Thiago, and in the home game, he scissored him from behind. I mean, they're both red cards. So I think the overall standard of refereeing is just so poor. And the lack of consistency, that to start saying, oh, the VAR should have got involved in that. VAR could get involved in 100 things. And this isn't one of those ones where I'm saying, oh, God, yeah, he definitely should have gone. I mean, Bentancur got involved in with a thing over on the far touchline, away from the cameras in the East Stand. And he'd already had a booking and he got a ticket too. So, yes and no. I know where you're coming from, but can before we get on to the equaliser, agent, let me ask you a question. It goes to the previous banner about Sunderland came out. It's like, they're going to come out. They're a goal behind. They don't get anything if they don't score. And it didn't seem to me that we were mentally attuned to that at all.
Well, we should be, shouldn't we? We should know that. If teams either come out and, the first 10 or 15 minutes, they come at you, or they give it about 15, 20 minutes, the manager makes subs and then have a blast at you in the last 20, 25 minutes or half hour. So, yeah, we should have been prepared for that. This isn't the first time this has happened, though, when teams have come at us in the second half, is it? This has happened before. So we should be prepared for it. I think we are. I mean, I don't think we defended in the second half because we got broke forward quite a few times, had half chances or whatever. Just that we weren't disciplined. I mean, the point was we ended up giving them too much space. We left gaps. We left like on the left, on their left. I see at times when there was 3 players on the left waiting for the ball and we had one. We had one there. Where's the concentration? I think that's what it was. I think we were too eager. This is the thing. I think we've been too eager to try and push on, and then it was sloppy play to concede that goal as well, wasn't it? I mean, so.
Well, I'll come on to the goal. I do want to talk about one thing before the goal, and then we want to talk about transfers, because I think today showed we were weak in far too many areas. But there was that move, a really good counter. Richarlison broke down the right-hand side, Adrian. It would have been towards your end. The ball gets cut across, and the defender just gets a touch with, I think, Tell, and it may have been Odebear as well on the far side, ready to put the tap in, and the defender gets a touch, and it just goes away.
Yeah, and also, it's not just that. We had a few poor balls into the box as well, And then we get forward and we pass it back to the halfway line. The ball gets passed back to Vicario. I mean, it's this horseshoe football. It's very robotic, but every team plays that way. Most teams play that way. You'd think a coach would come up with some innovative ideas. I've got ideas how you could improve that. I mean, I remember Hoddle saying at one time when he was in management and all that, I want the ball to be at the opposing opponent's penalty area in 4 passes. That's the way you should be playing football. Get it forward quickly, But it's just everyone's. I don't know if these players have got it in their head. My stats have got to look good above anything else, above the team, above the result, above anything else, and so as they look good, on their own stats. I mean, I admired Pochettino in a way because he would say take risks in the final third. We actually tried a few things in the final third today. I mean, Porro was good going forward today. We tried a few things, but we seem to be stuck in this phase where even breaking from midfield, we either just slightly overhit or underhit a pass. There's sort of lack of flow. There's we look disjointed. There's sort of lack of cohesion. I'm not saying. I mean, I thought Graham Bentancur did very well first half, but it's just that these final little touches of the ball that is it's just not happening at the moment. If it happens.
Is that down though, and Harry, you can come in after Adrian. Is that down to just that lack of quality, that extra little 5%, 7% that a top player has over a good player?
On the flanks, it's partly you give a fullback the ball in a tight position. Now he's supposed to make a pass forward. And I see it a few times today when that didn't happen. They got intercepted, but in midfield. I mean, there were some times when we broke with a little flicks and it was quite good. We got in a promising positions and then blew up. Basically ruined it. But yeah, I just think we need a bit. We need that creative spark in midfield, don't we? And if you haven't got a number 10, don't play one. Just play Moani behind Richarlison, 2 wingers.
Gonna come on. I would send Moani back. That comment from which I think if you were at the game or I saw the remnants on television, but there was a lot of afters between Bentancur and the Sunderland players after the final whistle. Yeah, I mean we used to be able to call that handbags, but we're not allowed to call it that because it's politically incorrect. But the comment that we simply haven't got enough quality or have that bravery in many. Yeah, I'm coming to that conclusion, and then there's a question as well. Which look, we will come to this. Can I ask the panel if they're frank in or out? Because it's one that is testing a lot, not just the YouTubers but every supporter. Can I come back to that? I promise I will. I do promise I will.
I just want to add one thing in. I mean,
yeah.
Well, when we watched Spurs years ago, if you brought a young player in, like when Perimanolo came in the side, you brought them in and they had 10 seasoned pros they were playing with. We're bringing in Tel, Odegaard, and I'm not saying I think both these kids have got fantastic potential. Whether they end up staying at this club is another thing. But you're asking a lot and we're a young side anyway. When you doggies in there and all that, you're asking a lot when you're bringing these in. To finish off moves and passes and things like that. They've both got something about them that's good. But we're like, this is why the squad needs a bit more experience. If you're playing one of them with 10 regulars, and then taking one of them off and bringing another one on, like fine. But we've been asking a lot of young players. I mean, like you've got Graham Bergville in there, they're on 19 as well. Odegaard and Tel. And they're all developing players.
Let me stop you, Adrian, just briefly, because we've got the 109 of you online, which is absolutely fantastic. Please do hit the like and subscribe button. If you're watching on anything other than YouTube, please go onto the YouTube and hit the like and subscribe. I don't know if we've had a raid from anywhere else. The numbers have just been gradually creeping up, which is great. And I know Last Word on Spurs is going out now as well. So so it's always good if we can score 100 with other big shows going out as well. Harry, let me bring you in on this then. If I just move it on a little bit. Substitutes. You talked about Sunderland's substitutions, and there's no doubt their substitutions influenced the game more positively than ours did. But 71 minutes, Polina and Bergvall for Gray and Odegaard. From Adrian will tell us what it was like in the stadium. I must say, from where I was watching on the television, they looked like good substitutions.
They did in terms of players coming on. I don't agree with the players that made way. I don't agree with, in particular, for example, I like Bentancur. I think he had a lot to offer in the game, but for me, he should be making way. I think Gray as well. Gray was getting tired, and it was a kind of okay performance from Gray, nothing more, nothing less. But to go Bentancur and Paulinho, I think in this type of game at this stage just didn't feel right because they're getting each other's way really, and sometimes I like them together. I think Brentford was sensible from the start, but if you notice, Paulinho and Bentancur, this is something for Spurs fans to watch out for. When one of them comes on, when they both don't start together, if that makes sense. So in this case, Bentancur starts, Paulinho's on the bench. There just seems to be some confusion about who's got which role that I've noticed that really stands out to me. If you look at Paulinho, there's a lot of looking and pointing in Bentancur's direction and back at him. And I just think that leads to a problem. And if you look at the goal, it's a good goal. Take nothing away from it. There's a lot of gaps in midfield. I think they both do such a similar job. That's the problem. They work together from the start. When Frank's like, look, you probably go here, you go here, and they work it out together, but not when one of them comes on. So when I saw that, I thought, oh, great, this is going to be a little bit of a problem because it's something I picked up and noticed last week. And from a small bit of analysis that I'd done. So I don't think that was right, and that will frustrate fans. But in hindsight, we sit here and go, oh, Frank's up back and we've thrown it away. But if we'd gone for it, people would have gone, oh, look at Frank. He doesn't know how to see a game out. He's not good at in-game management. So fans love to have it both ways. The reality is more the credit goes on Sunderland. But I think it's the fact that, again, it's another home game that we don't win. That's what fans' frustration are. I don't think the problem was the substitutes. I think the problem was that we backed up and got too comfortable. And Sunderland took advantage of that, and Sunderland stepped it up. We got worse. They got better. It was only ever going to end one way.
Yeah, I mean, Adrian, what was your thoughts? You were at the ground. the substitutions that were made and the timing of them.
I'd mentioned to the guys around me that Gray had played 7 games on this. Was his 7th game on the spin, so that wasn't a surprise. Odebert, I thought Odebert was okay. I thought Tell was good, wanted to take his man on down the left, but I thought Odebert, I'd have left Odebert on personally. And like, I mean, like he moved into the middle, didn't he? Once Kudus went off, not for me, you know. So I'd rather Moani be in the middle. But yeah, I mean, Frank, it was the usual 65, 70 minute subs from Frank, and he's brought experience on, hasn't he? In Paulina as well. So it's partly to shore up the defence a bit, you know. But we that didn't stop us from going forward. It wasn't like what we did at Brentford. Nothing like it, thank God. So yeah, I mean, like, what more can you really say? I mean, like, subs when they were, the manager's brilliant, he's got it all right, and when they're just sort of, as Harry alluded to, turned out to be pretty average, then like, the manager's got it wrong. But like, I don't think Frank's got a lot of tools to use at the moment at his disposal, especially if now Kudus is injured.
Yeah, another one. Harry, Broby 1-1. You haven't seen it, or at least I
saw the second half.
You had, right? You did see it. So, I mean, the thing I wrote down when I was prepping the show, a great goal. It was a brilliantly worked goal, but there just seemed that inevitability that they would score. You know, whereas the top teams just grind it. We never do. Tottenham never does. And bang, you know, there we go. Another 2 points at home dropped, and is it going to be 3?
Absolutely, inevitable is a perfect word. Sunderland knew it. The supporters knew it. Watching at home, watching inside the stadium, Regis Lebris knew it too. Thomas Frank probably knew deep down, and certainly our supporters inside the stadium and watching all around the world knew what was going to happen. We know that we've given away too many points. Sunderland have an amazing record of getting points out of nowhere, A, but B, leaving it late as well. They love a stoppage time or 80th plus minute goal. So everything about it, the fact that we concede late, they score late, it just was written in the stars before a ball was kicked. But in particular, the way the game was going, the way the momentum was shifting, the way the game was shifting as a whole, it just felt like always that Sunderland were going to get that goal, which is a real shame because I think we had control of it at points in that first half. Even the start of the second, I think it was ours to lose. And I really feel for Frank, if I'm honest with you. I don't go too much into it because I know we get into it later. I just think if you have a little bit more attacking firepower up top, we go 2-0 up and it's a completely different story. That's how I genuinely feel. So those fans that, you know, because I'm Frank in, right? I say how it is. Again, I don't give too much away for later, but I get a lot of criticism. I'm sure others do as well for that. And I just look at this, and maybe I just see it because I'm a positive person anyway. And I just look at it and go, in my head, I'm envisioning a Dom Solanke with, you know, a Kulu or Madison creating the chance, and I'm thinking 2-0, and we sit on that and we win 2-0 or 2-1, and we're okay. And there's no conversation about Frank to be had. I just think it's slim pickings, it's fine margins that are just so frustrating at the moment. And what gives me real hope, though, is 1 goal conceded. Adrian said there in 3 games, and you know, in the last 3, for me, I can take positives out of all of them. But Spurs fans will just look at the stats because unfortunately we're living in a stats and modern world, and I'm a modern supporter because I'm just 17 years of age. But I hate this win now generation. I hate the way they're drilled inside their head to look at the stats, to look at the XG, to look at how many trophies he won. Has Thomas Frank won a trophy because he won a trophy last year? That's not what it's about in the short term. So Frank will be booted out the door, in my honest opinion, very, very soon. The absolute latest being at the end of the season, and that is a concern for me right now because I think we're bringing probably not a lot in January, and then we're bringing a new manager after the January window, more than likely, and they won't have any say because the window would have gone. Happened so many times at Spurs, I can't tell you how frustrating it is. So right now, I'm frustrated as a positive fan. I'm looking around me and thinking, this club is not what it used to be, and we're really struggling at the moment. But with the goal, it was great, and real credit to Robbie. But shame on our players on the pitch. They just annoyed him. They annoyed him, and that goal was hit with real power and venom. And the way he celebrated as well, that was with anger. That was a goal because of we wound him up. So that just frustrates me even more. Spurs are Owen's worst enemy. That's the way I wanted to say it. You know, we just cause ourselves more problems. You know, they often say with Arsenal, and rightly so, they cause the most problems themselves. We cause the most problems to ourselves as well.
Adrian, let me ask you a specific question. Harry's alluded to this twice, and he's absolutely right. Their numbers for goals in the last 10 minutes plus of the game are absolutely extraordinary. Is that's down to better fitness, isn't it?
No, I think it could be partly that, right? But I think we're caught between a rock and a hard place when it comes to defending and attacking. I think because we can grind it out. I mean, we did it at Palace, we did it at Brentford. We've done it previously during this season. But I think the players are under pressure because of the boring Tottenham song at Brentford and all this to keep going and keep going forward. If we'd have come out with intentions to defend and grind it out, we can do that. We can do it when our mindset's right. We can do it. But we didn't. I think the pressure was on the team at home because we've had loads of poor results to get the win and to keep going forward even when we're in front. And it's right, the pressure should be on to be like that because that's what we want to see, attacking football. But it's just, it's just not going our way at the moment. We should have won this game. It does feel like 2 points drop, which is disappointed. Fitness, I think we're as fit as them. But it's just it's about passing the ball, isn't it? I mean, if you don't pass it, if you keep losing the ball, you're going to cause yourself problems, aren't you?
Yeah. Adrian, I'll stick to you on that one then before I bring Harry back. Spence and Scarlett for Davis until 88 minutes. Too little, too late, as a couple of people on the chat have indicated.
I think Spence was brought on in the hope that maybe we'd get some attacking impetus from him and like something might happen. And Scarlett, he's a forward. He's a good finisher. Probably got no future at this club. Probably get sold in the summer, if not in this window. So, and Davies, it's 88 minutes. Bring him off. I mean, I'm not arguing with the subs because we're just throwing everything. We're throwing what we can at it, which isn't a lot.
Harry, let me bring you in then, because I want to talk before we wrap up on some of the transfers and the links and what have you. Today really showed everybody the overwhelming need to bring genuine quality into this team, real quality, all over the pitch.
Yes, absolutely. I have no confidence we do so. That's a frustrating thing. And you've got someone like me that is always glass half full. If I'm sitting here saying that I don't think we will, then I think that's a problem because I always go into every transfer window and go, yeah, but we're going to do something in the last week. It's got to the point now I just don't have any confidence. And I think what we do will be wrong and we'll rush it and just I'm so frustrated, Ian, because for me, this is all on the owners, right? And I think we've got a team that isn't as good as we think. I think the defense as well, we think it's good on paper, but in reality, we dive a bit deeper. It's not as good as we think. And of course, the manager should be doing better. Of course, Tottenham shouldn't be 13th place. But I do not believe, hand on heart, this squad is top 6 or even top 8 worthy. And that attack is a prime example of that. We used to have an attack that used to deliver and scare teams week in, week out. We now have an attack that, is destined for where they are in the table, unfortunately. And as you guys have said, Odebear, young player showing promise. Tell for me deserves more of a chance. Of course, got it today. I don't think he's a bad player. Richarlison as well, hitting some form. But together, they're not what we've been used to. They're not a Kulu, Kane and Son. They really aren't. 3 years in a row, Tottenham sold their top scorer and not replaced them. I just cannot get my head around that. And whatever way you look at it right now, I just think from upstairs, they're doing such a poor job. We had this, kind of cringy video, didn't we? Or podcast, whatever you want to call it. They're trying to fit into this modern society 11 weeks ago, how things are rosy. This club are close to being back to where they are, sugarcoating and lying to our faces, pure gaslighting. And that was just a bunch of lies because since Fabio Paratici is so close to leaving, 2 members of coaching staff have left. Players are unhappy, rumoured to be in the dressing room. I just rather be told, look, Tottenham's a mess right now. It's going to take some time. We're going to get behind the manager. And Vinay said we're here, some transparency. We're going to be updated on what happens. We've had no update since that speech about there's going to be an update. So what's happened? I promise you right now, if we're top of the league, there'll be an update every single day. So I don't know what's happened there. And I'm just so unhappy with the club upstairs. I think they're poison to this club. We see it at West Ham right now. I think it's a very similar situation. It's going under the radar because we're in the relegation zone. So I'm frustrated with our owners. It's nothing new, but it's treated as something new because of a new look board. I tell you what, they're a half incompetent board. And I like Vinay, but take some responsibility, take some accountability. You said you'd deliver updates on how this team's getting on, about the project, about the plan. He even said about the January window. Nothing so far. And Tottenham will be doing nothing in the window no time soon. And I tell you what, if we sell more players, I'll be so frustrated before we bring anyone in. This squad is paper thin because of players we've got out. It's lacking quality. It's lacking bodies. It's lacking experience. It's lacking any kind of quality whatever. And I hope you can hear that I'm really frustrated as a fan that likes to be positive, likes to go, but let's look on the bright side. It's very difficult right now. I look on the bright side with Frank and these players in particular. I don't look on the bright side with these owners because it's been the same happening every year. And I just kind of get my head around it. It's treated as like completely new owners because they've shuffled a few bodies in the board. They've just basically played the blame game. They've thrown Levy under the bus and gone, it's not us, it's you. Sitting in the Bahamas and, lack of investment. So I'm incredibly frustrated.
Yeah, I mean, the front man's gone, but it's the same people that own the club that are there. So before they could
He's just a figurehead. I think he's just a figurehead. I don't like Levy, and I think he's trigger happy of managers, but I think he's just a figurehead for a failing project behind him.
There's a limit. I mean, we've all heard the Lewis family are putting money in, the Lewis family this. I think it was Abraham Lincoln who said you can fool some of the people some of the time, and you feel but you can't fool all of the people all of the time. And I can't help thinking if they have a bad window, it's it really is all roads lead to Enoch, and all roads lead to Vivian Lewis.
The money's there. The problem is it's a 31-day window. And you've got about quality players out of clubs that might be facing relegation. They might be challenging for the league titles or cups in their own leagues. And it's a tough window to do business. And as much as I hate to say this, I'd rather we didn't do any business if we're just going to be desperate and bring in substandard players in. I mean, but, we've been linked with some excellent players, I think. But having said that, I don't think there's there's a hell's chance of us getting this in January.
Well, I'm going to bring up some names, and I've got nothing to update, nothing whatsoever from Monday's show. So that's 6 days, and I've got no updated information at all. But Harry, let me bring you in on this. We've let a lot of players. We're letting a lot of players out the window. I mean, surely it's utter stupidity to have let Johnson go without a replacement lined up.
Yes, but these owners are stupid, and this board is stupid, and this club acts stupid and don't act like they should. So, it comes as no surprise, really. You got to look in the mirror, is what I'd say to them. But I'm honestly livid. I'm livid, and I don't like to jump, and I'd love them to prove me wrong, right? And I'm not one of those fans that goes in the first few days of the transfer window, boom, let's do this. But recognise the situation. We're in the bottom half. Go on, Liam.
I was just going to say, since you've turned 17, you've got really lippy. I'll send you to your room with no tea if you carry on like this.
Go to bed, past the bedtime. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. No, I mean... Yeah.
Well, can I be honest with you? It was New Year's
resolution. I'm sure it makes for great viewing as well. I don't disagree with the word you say.
I'm not doing it for that though. If I'm honest with you, I just made a New Year's resolution to myself that I'd say it how I see it. If I think it's unpopular, I won't shy away from it, and I'm going to try and be doing that a lot more. I hate these owners with a passion right now. I think that honestly, I do, and I've really sat on the fence for years. I look at it now and go, this football club, 12th, 13th? Do you tell me in the table struggling is what I do know, right? Common sense says a little bit of money, a little bit of right recruitment is needed. And it just, no, absolutely nothing so far. And Brennan Johnson, by all means, let him leave. And I get you don't stall the deal, that you don't bring it, I get you don't want to stall it so it falls apart, etc. But you need to have a plan of bringing someone in. Johnson would have voiced his concern, or there would have been we heard it, didn't we, about Johnson leaving 3 days before the transfer window opened. That's when the talks first started. Why are we not linked to anyone? I promise you'll go for Savinha again, and we won't end up with him, right? We told
he's injured faces. Apparently now. He's got quite a bad injury.
Perfect for Tottenham. Well, perfect. He comes to the club. You've convinced me even more.
Yeah, I'm going to start, Harry. I'm going to start singing "Are You Daigle in Disguise" in a minute.
Well, I'm going to start my own thing at the minute, Ian, and I'm going to be the chauffeur as well, and get my driving license, and planning to drive this year, and then I'm going to ship the whole family, I tell you, to the Bahamas. They can go with Joe Lewis, and they can retire there happy, knowing that this club is rotted.
Let's hijack
it. Bananas in the Bahamas, yeah.
But
They're a bunch of
hey,
bananas. I'll tell you what, they're a bunch of bananas. Bananas without, any brains.
As silly as a bunch of bananas, as the expression
Absolutely.
goes.
That's being kind.
going loco down in Acapulco.
Yeah.
Let's have a look. I'll probably put a timer on that. So let me get rid of that timer. Sorry. Yeah, okay. I can't get rid of that timer because of the way I've set it up. Bid for Santos left back Sousa, who we've been linked with for a little while, has been rejected. Surprise, surprise, Adrian.
The rumour would is like we offered 8 mil. Again, look, this is another 19-year-old. We need competition for you, doggy. Look, I've watched the video of this kid. He is a speed merchant. He looks the real deal. Can he cut it in the Premier League? You never know. This is a risk you've got. And you bring a 19-year-old in, and straight away the fan base is going to have a meltdown. Because what did Rob McKenzie say? Beginning of the season, he's got a recruitment team of 10 under him. Right? He said, we're looking to bring in experienced players. That's what he said. And now how much swing he has, even though he's in charge of the recruitment team, I don't know. I mean, they just do the analysis and you put their suggestions forward, and then I suppose it's down to Vinny and Frank, and they'll all discuss it. But he's 19. Are there no left backs out there with a bit of experience?
Well, a couple of weeks ago,
I like this kid.
We were talking about Nathaniel Brown at Frankfurt, and I know Phil. You've worked with Phil, haven't you, Harry? He's been on. I think I probably know him from doing shows with you. Lives in Frankfurt, absolutely knows the German game inside out, and is saying he would be perfect. But again, nothing's all gone really quiet. That's the kind of quality signing I would have thought we should be looking for, Adrian.
Yeah, he's 22, 23. He's got his first cap for Germany. He's of American-German descent, I think. Yeah, and he is very good. He's very good, and he's in the Bundesliga. So the next step up is the Premier League from there, really. And and I think he would be perfect. But the thing with a lot of players, when I go through the transfer window and look at these links, and we link with players early, and then they disappear off the radar. My theory is that we've asked the club, or we've talked to the player, we've talked to their agent, and they've gone no. So now we've moved on. And I think we've moved on from Nathaniel Brown like we moved on from Savinho, So,
Harry, isn't that the problem? You can't sign the best players unless you're a top club, and you can't become a top club unless you sign the best players. So inevitably, all the top players keep going to the same clubs, and unless you get a really good coaching or you get a really, really good investment from whether it's America, the Far East, the Middle East, wherever, you're absolutely screwed.
You're right, and Tottenham are in a vicious cycle, by the way, in a load of different ways. But you do end this cycle by literally, right. Let me just put it this way, right? This modern game is about money more than ever, right? Whether we like it or not. And if you pay the players what they believe they deserve, you not only retain the players you've got, the top assets, but you also attract the best players. And right now, I promise you, if you say to someone like Semenyo, right, for example, whether he wants to come to Tottenham or not is another thing completely. You say to him, 100 grand a week at Tottenham, or join Man City for like 300,000 a week. It's already a big convincing factor to join Man City, as it is already with the trophies, with the manager, a load of different other things. The point is, if Spurs matched what other clubs will pay or got close to it, it'd give us a hang in the balance. We have a great new stadium. We're in the Champions League. If we pay players more, it's a big attraction. But do you notice how all these top players are only ever linked to Man City, to Chelsea, to Liverpool, to Arsenal? It's the same every single window. It's the same when Haaland comes to the Premier League for him first. It was only Liverpool, wasn't it? Liverpool, Chelsea, maybe Man United. It's funny that. United, of course, because the big name is some of it, but they still pay their players what they deserve, and they still bring in the big names because of the history of the club. And Tottenham create their own problems, Ian.
My worry, Harry, though, with that is, again, and we only go on what we read, because on something like this, we don't know. And even if we know in the knows, we have to rely on them having actual knowledge rather than pretending they know things. But that we were prepared to pay Semenyo £200,000 plus and make him at least the top earner in the club but he
Too late.
wasn't interested. But he won't come to this club because it's a choice between us. I mean, he turned Chelsea down apparently, but if it's a choice between Liverpool and Manchester City, all I see is challenging for titles, playing Champions League every year. In Tottenham, I see upper mid-table, upper top upper mid-table at best, and a possibility of a cup run.
Yeah, you're right, but again, that comes from upstairs because listen, it's a top-down approach to me in football. 9 times out of 10 are the cases, and it's the same with Tottenham. Other clubs, London rivals, West Ham, similar position, right? Where sometimes the manager is close to irrelevant, right? I think if you replace Thomas Frank now and put Pep Guardiola in, I don't think too much drastically changes. I think we score a few more goals, we're a little bit bolder, but I think we have the same problems as we have. And the reality is, right, Semenyo doesn't want to join Tottenham because we're not in a very good state. We're not attractive in any way. That comes from upstairs. If you don't sign the right players, you don't spend enough money, you don't back the managers, you throw them under the bus, you sack them, you have this rinse and repeat in so many different ways, shapes and form, you create yourself a problem. We're not an attractive prospect for many players. I still am not one of those fans that throws the club under the bus. We are still a top club. People are still interested in Tottenham, but we just don't go for those big players. Right? I think it's a lack of ambition. I think the money's there, whether they're cash rich or not, or not enough cash, I don't know. The point is that I think we're unambitious when it comes to transfer windows. Brennan Johnson, we just sold him. Good player. I'm sad that we sold him, but we go for him when we signed him. For other bigger names, we just buy completely wrong, Ian. We buy from lower down in the Premier League. Why don't we buy higher up in the Premier League or dip into other markets? That's what I'm worried about losing Fabio Paratici. It means the Italian market's gone and different markets, Spanish market's gone. It's a real problem because I don't think we're very adventurous as a club. So we're just going to stick to buying these Forest players, Palace players, which is great. But come on, let's just do better than that. We're Tottenham. And right now we're just slipping. I think right now we're a mid-table club without an identity. I think we're at risk of becoming an Everton. I think that.
I was thinking this.
We can offer.
After,
well, we should be.
Yeah, no, I want to bring you in on this, Adrian.
We can offer Champions League football.
Hang on, Adrian. I think Harry's hit a really important nail on the head here, and I'd be interested in your view and the chat view on this. That at the moment, Tottenham has no identity. At least what people didn't always like the identity we had, for example, under Ange. But they knew what the identity was. It's who we are, mate. Might sound a bit hollow when we've just conceded another stupid goal, by not having a six. We've got no identity.
Well, no, because we've lost it. The Spurs way, which was known back in the day, was to play fast, attractive, attacking football. That was our DNA. That's where our motto is order facere, because it's to dare is to do. Now, we had that with Nicholson, we had that with Birkinshaw, we had that with Jar, we had it with Redknapp, we had it with Venables, we had it with Poch. And then you go and bring in Mourinho, world-class manager, Conte, world-class manager, but they're not to dare is to do. There is to do for myself. That's what they are. They are to do for myself. It's more about them and their egos. They want to be bigger than a football club. Nuno, we didn't know about. So consequently, since Poch wasn't backed for 518 days in the transfer window, we're still paying for that now. And we've tried the old, elastoplast fix, trying to plug holes by getting Joe Rodon and Nkudu and like Njaya, and like Janssen and players like that, which are not good enough for this football club. And I'm not against the youngsters we've got. If we've got Toe and Odeberton and brought other quality players in, and they were being groomed for future, fine. Nothing against young players. We should look to improve all aspects and levels of this football club, because if you're a big football club, you do that. But then it goes back to the board, and they don't get away with it, as Harry's alluded to, just because they've sacked Levy to sort of deflect from themselves. They've been with this football club 25 years, right? And we got a trophy last year. We should have a warm glow carrying us through this season. But we haven't seen growth and progress. And Frank has got the second half this season to show growth and progress, because if he doesn't, he's dead meat. Don't believe they're going to sack him. I won't throw him under the bus. Rinse and repeat. Who are you going to get in? You're not going to get no one in now. What are you going to do? Promote a coach? And that just leaves loads more excuses. We have to do work in this. And another thing, one a bit of a rant, right?
Yeah, we're on a bit of a rant. It's fine.
You read him recently, and I'm a positive Spurs fan. So you read him recent reports. oh yeah, we're looking for players, you know, one to 6 players in every position. Are you effing kidding me? 1 to 6. I mean, if you don't get your first choice, second choice, yes, third choice is that push. I don't want the 4th, 5th, or 6th choice at this football club. That's what we've done for years. That's what we've done for years. We want a choice of like top 2, maybe 3. If you can't bring the quality in, right, then you don't. But like then Harry alluded to, and like Vino has to come around and say, look, we've got to go what we've got, which will really piss everyone off in the fan base. But we just can't get the players that we want to fill. It's the whole left side, isn't it? It's left back, left midfield, left wing that needs fixing. And then you can bring Tel and Odebert in behind them. Keep them in the squad. You've got to have 25. You're not going to have 20. Even Pep hasn't got 25 good players. You'd never keep them happy of superb quality. You'd never keep them happy. But you want 18. You know, you want about 18 if you can get up to 18. But we're looking weak now. And we'll stumble through. Even if we had to stick with what we got, we'd stumble through and finish mid-table at the end of the season. But you know, it's there's been. Well, look at Frank. If you want to be really critical, he's had 20 league games, 6 Champions League games, 26, 2 League Cup games, 28 games, a pre-season, and we haven't seen any growth or progress in 28.
Nothing. Absolutely right.
Rank there before I carry on.
We could have won a suit. If we could have held on to a lead for 5 minutes, we'd have won the Super Cup. I mean, I've done my ranting on other shows. I'm, seriously enjoying listening to you two. But let's talk about another couple of things. The Japanese boy. He's my Japanese boy. He's gone to Borussia Mönchengladbach. Apparently on a loan, but with no obligation. Good move, Adrian.
Well, Dortmund, Borussia Mönchengladbach have had a habit of having Japanese players at their football club, so I'm sure he'd be welcome there. What I watched of him when he came, and I've gone back and look at any videos of him, he is very fast. Like he's a very fast centre back. He's good in the air, good in the tackle, as you'd expect. Is he good enough for the Premier League? Who knows? We haven't seen him, have we? Well, we haven't seen him. So, and as his age, and look, you've got to look at it this way, right? You've got Phillips out at Stoke, you've got Vaskovic smashing at Hamburg, and I think he should be our third choice centre back because he's technically so much better than Danso, and I like Danso, and I think Danso would be happy. One of those players like Davis would be happy to be fourth choice, just to be part of this football club, which is what you need when your squad's getting bigger and bigger without causing ruptions in the dressing room and players knocking on the manager's door while they're playing. I just think Vaskovic, he's done it in Poland, he's done it in Belgium, Westerlo, and now he's smashed it in Bundesliga. He should come straight into this squad. He's 18. When I first watched him, I've never seen a better centre back at his age.
Well, hang on, can we talk about Takai?
Yeah, Takai.
I mean, what worries me is let me bring you. Let me go back to what I really want to get at. I mean,
Vuskovic. And I mean, the whole point is all clubs snap up young players. Chelsea, Man City, Man United, Arsenal. We all do it. We know a lot of them are going to get farmed out. We know most of them, if any of them, may not even get into your first team squad, let alone play for your club. But these academies will pay for themselves. They will pay for themselves.
Adrian, one of the reasons why Marseca isn't at Chelsea any longer is that the board apparently were telling him, you've got to play the kids. You've got to play the kids. We're the exact opposite. We keep signing the kids and then punting them out. I mean, and I'm saying to you, Vuskovic is different because we bought Vuskovic as a 16-year-old, and he's not legally entitled to come and play in this country until his 18th birthday, which was under a year ago. But someone like Takai, we bring him over. He's not played a game, and granted he's been injured, but now he's fit, and we punt him. And I'm going, what is the point of buying these young players if we're not going to have a look and see how good they are?
That is the problem, Ian, but we do play the kids because Graham Bergvall kids, Tom Odebert are kids. There's 4 kids that are playing in our first team. And now we want to put more inexperienced players into that team. I mean, he's brought over because, look, he wasn't bought for the first team. He was bought for the future, wasn't he? Yang Min Hook's out as well. They were bought. and all clubs do this. You have to, you have to
But
improve.
this is what
all
Harry's
aspects.
saying about us having no identity. If we're bringing, I think people would understand if you say we're playing a lot of kids. We're playing five players under the age of 24, 6 players under the age of 24, because we're going to develop them and we are going to mold them into the best team in England. But it will take time. People would get that. We don't. We're not got the experienced players we've got, like Bentancur, is meh. You've got Romero on his days, world class, but half the time he acts like a complete wank, and I'm sorry to use that word, but for a club captain, World Cup winner, his behaviour is abysmal. And then you're farming out kids left, right, and centre. I mean, there's play and ask about Luca Williams, Barnett Williams, can't remember his name, sitting on the bench. I mean, the people that I know that have watched him play, that I've streamed with, say he's a great little player, but he's nowhere near first team ready. Nowhere near.
He's 17. He's not
exactly.
ready.
Exactly. But this boy's not. Takai's, what is he, 21 now?
20, I think. He might be 21 now.
Yeah. But, we're farming Dorrington out, Phillips out.
Front of him. Yeah, Vuskovic is in front of him. Danso's in front of him, right? You've got Dragason's in front of him. There's no point having all these youngsters, no point putting them on the bench if they're never going to get no game time. They should go out on loan. And they should, if it's at a lower league, then up it to another league, to see if they can handle it. I mean, Vuskovic done it every different level he's been at. He's smashed it. So to me, he should come back. I think, Mikey Moore should come back into this team at the end of this season as well. I think you're going to stop there. I think Lancashire, I think Donnelly, I think Scarlett will be sold. You get a few mil for them. A lot of them are going to be sold.
Let's talk about Donnelly.
Well, actually, him going to Oxford is good.
Harry, well, let me bring Harry in.
Him going to Oxford is good.
Adrian, let me bring Harry in. Donnelly was someone that a lot of people had a lot of hopes for, but he's going to Oxford. Although, granted, they're a championship team. You think Oxford United, they're a non-league team, but no, they're a championship team now. But there's apparently a 4.5 million option, which, well, I'm a bit surprised at that. But there you go.
Well, this is Tottenham Hotspur, Ian. Let me say it again.
Yeah.
Josh Keeley was seen as a really exciting goalkeeper. Fans went mad. He's going to be an ex-goalkeeper for 20-odd years. And then we give him away for nothing. Close to nothing, really. Was it $1 million? If that, and it just tells you all you need to know. This club jumped at the opportunity for money. They've jumped at it with Johnson and then gone, oh, what happens if Kudus gets injured? Well, it does, as much as I don't want it to happen, it does serve the owners right. They might pull their finger out in the window. But no, with Donnelly, what I've seen of him, he's been good, but the loan before that, of course, didn't work out. This feels right on paper to him. We'll have to see how he gets on. But I just hate how we throw in options, not knowing, the amount of money that is right, not knowing whether it's the right thing to do. I'd much rather it be, kind of a straight loan, and then we decide from there. It's really, frustrating. I don't think that Oxford can pay that kind of money, being in the situation they're in. So maybe Tottenham have done that. I think that's what Gary is saying there. So I don't think, I'll be triggered. But at the same time, if it is, and what about if he's done really well? Spurs go, oh, maybe we should have got a little bit more. So as a club, I just don't think we think at all. I don't think we plan. And, lackluster January, a little bit of alliteration there for those that like English. We're honestly just frustrating, right? The football club is failing on the football pitch. Any other club, look at West Ham, who are 10 times worse than us. They've acted in the window. They signed 2 players in 3 days. That's what clubs do when they're in a dire situation, right? They back the manager, they back where they are, and they get on with the job. Right now, we've got a load of attacking players out. Our bench, you think it was AFC Wimbledon's bench. It's not very good. It's not very exciting. It lacks the quality. Our attack doesn't get any out of the top 8 team. Need I say any more? Apart from we need to do more in January. We're focused on outgoings. Great. Let's focus on bringing players in first, maybe, yeah? And do you know what? Paratici, that's a massive distraction as well. One way or the other, just get it done with. Huge problem. It's never going to work with 2 sporting directors. Let's be honest with you. He was always power hungry. He loves Italy. It was never going to work as much as I liked him. But can the club stop pretending everything's rosy. Nothing is rosy. It's never, going to be rosy. I just hate how it's all this gaslighting the fans. We keep you updated. Everything's perfect. Great partnership. We're going to work really well. Paratici and Langer are like, we're going to work well for years to come. They could even work well for weeks to come. So what does that tell you about the club? They're fragile behind the scenes. And this is another example of that with I think, a poor deal.
Yeah, 136 of you. A couple of regulars come on saying hello. Tom, I know Tom's had other things and other family things had to deal with. So thanks for coming on, Jimmy Hotspur. Good evening, Jimmy and Gary. I know you've been caught up, hopefully in a not too bad car situation ahead of you. You weren't involved in an accident, but I saw pictures you posted of a fire on the motorway. So hopefully everything's okay. And thanks for tuning in, all of you. Let's go back. Go on, Adrian. You want to
on Donnelly, right? Because he was a player. I mean, the under-21s in a all conquering season, they're all farmed out this season, were an absolute joy to watch. And Donnelly was brought in converted by Wayne Burney because he come from Northern Ireland into more of a number 10. He's got a killer forward defense getting past on him. Doesn't work all the time. And he had Lancashire with him in the under-21s. Now, them two pairing up again. They know each other's game. So I hope he does well. I don't think him, like Divine and a lot of others, are going to get a chance. I think the only three have got a chance of getting in the squad. And bear in mind, only 3%, the last time I looked, which was a few seasons ago, only 3% of academy players actually become regular members of their first team 25-man squads. And most of them come from the less wealthier teams who are forced to play youngsters because they can't afford to go out and buy replacements. So, I mean, when people say like, oh, Mourinho at Man United played youngsters, no, he didn't. The only reason McTominay got in that team is because they had so many injuries, right? It doesn't happen, right? Managers even like Frank, I mean, he's played enough youngsters in this team anyway. So, anyway, Donnelly, I wish him well. I very much doubt he's got a future at this football club. I don't know nothing about a loan to buy in. I haven't seen that, but it may or may not be right.
Gary, I think, would know if he's still on the chat.
Or Callum would. But we can't get too sentimental about it. We've got enough youngsters as it is in the squad. So the academy's going to have to pay for itself, and it will do.
Yeah. Okay. Harry, I don't know if there's anything particular that I want to get your take on. We're going to talk about a couple of players.
Frank,
Harry
maybe.
needs to jump. Well, yeah, let's deal with the Frank. There's still a few players I want to talk about. You're very much Frank in, Enoch out by the sounds of you.
100%. I mean, absolutely no doubt. And as a human, maybe this is just me, right? I'll fully commit to something. I don't do any in betweens or if buts or maybes. It's completes, absolutes, as some would call it, and absolutely fully Enoch out. I think they're poison, and honestly I do. And I think mainly that I am behind Frank. I think I'd go as far as saying 100%. A lot of people will be confused by that. I just don't think that being trigger happy, I don't think judging a manager after 4 or 5 months is the right thing to do. And I would go as far, Ian, as saying it's entitlement. We sit in the position we won last year in Bilbao, and I knew it'd be the case. I knew we'd get these Ange and Frank comparisons. I knew we'd be expected to win straight away, deliver success. It just isn't right. And I think there's a lot of problems behind the club we don't see. I think you've got a collapsing building that is just sugar-coated by people going, it's all right, it's okay. We change a few things, we move a few faces around, we chuck out some, the old handbags kind of thing, and we make it look a bit better. We sugar-coat it. It's like a sweet shop, that's rotten, the shelves are fallen. We put a few new kind of sweets at the front. It looks okay. It's it's brand new. You wouldn't know any different. And I just think right now, for Frank, I think time is great. I think it's what's needed. I recognise that, some fans would go, what have you seen Harry to get behind? I really like Frank's career at Brentford. I think it goes under the radar. His style of play works, and you've got the attacking players. He had Mbermo, Visser, Tony. And by the way, they were nobodies when he came into the club. He created these players. Mikhail Damsgaard plays football very similar to how James Maddison does. So playing the way that Frank does, I think he's a lot better, and we've got the players available. And I think he is the guy to back because he can bring that unity that we're seeing right now with our opposition in Sunderland in this game. They have a real connection. with the fans in the stands, the players on the pitch. Frank's brought that over in Denmark. That's how he was remembered, as a guy that brought things together with time and, of course, with the right back in. And whether Frank's the right guy or not, I'm not going to sit here and say Frank's going to win top trophies, but I'm going to sit here and go, I think Frank deserves the opportunity to prove he is the man. What's the solution? What solution does people have? If they say Frank out, who's going to come in and do a better job with Odebear, Tell and Richarlison, with all due respect, as our front line? Listen, the defence is doing well. 1 goal conceded in 3 games. The last 3 games defensively will look sound. Frank sorted that out. He sorted out set pieces. If we bring back attacking players, me just deserves to have Maddison, Kulusevski back. I get that people, will look at it and go, Frank, what have you done? I just think time is absolutely needed, because 2 games in and we're easily inside that top 6, 7. That's how quick it is to change. I'm all believe in patience. I always believe in backing the manager. It's not a Frank thing. I'm not even sure he's the right guy, but I believe he should have a chance of proving he is the right guy. And with this team, nobody can do better. We're where we should be, really close to where we should be. With the players who got injured, as Adrian said, and the players that we don't sign in the window, other clubs are improving in and around us. There's a lot more stronger competition this year. I am fully behind Thomas Frank. I do not believe sacking a manager mid-season achieves absolutely anything. He's saying it how it is, right? Lastly, Frank is calling out the situations at the club. He's saying it how he is. He's spot on with a lot of what he says. He just comes across in a poor way. Ange tried to tell us, and I liked Ange, but he likes to tell us that everything was perfect, everything was rosy. Adopts an approach at the club. That's why he lasted as long as he did. That's why Frank won't last as long, because he says it how it is. There are problems at this football club, and Frank is annoyed, right? That bench was out of annoyance. And Frank's comments, by the way, about he had no hope going into the Sunderland game. His words, say if we get a bit of luck, we might be able to get a result. He's completely changed his rhetoric. He was nearly negative, in particular after the game, but also before the game. This is a clear dig at the owners. It's a clear dig at the board. I just believe time is needed, and I just think right now that the problems lie deeper than the manager. I really do, and I think he's at the moment stopping it from getting even worse. I just think judge him after that January window. Ideally, give him the rest of the season with the emergency button. I get there, but I just don't think it's as bad as some people are making out. We're good defensively. We just need some form of creativity. We need some passion going forward. And I believe that's done with bodies. And we need to give him time.
Brilliant, yes. Harry. What can I say? What a great contribution you've made. I didn't know how the show was gonna go tonight. I was so browned off tonight. I thought I really don't want to do a show. But as ever, you get online, you talk to your fellow Spurs supporters.
Can I just say one thing? Sorry, it really annoys me. Jimmy Hotspur says he's done nothing in 14 years of management. This is what frustrates me, right? He's transformed Brentford, not only now, but for decades to come. And I mean this. He's taken them from a lower mid-table championship club to right, let me just put this way, right? He got them stable in the Championship 1. He got them in the playoffs 2. He got them promoted 3. He got them safe in the Premier League 4. He got them competitive in the Premier League 5. He then got them in the top 6 in the Premier League. That's 6 incredible achievements in their own way that he done with Brentford, right? And people say he had the backing. He didn't. Negative net spend he done that with, which is why he works perfectly at Tottenham with not a lot of money spent. He took them up a whole division, right? He deserves credit for that. Doesn't mean he's right for Tottenham, but he has a lot of credit in the bank in my eyes. He's made the careers of the likes of Mbeumo, Visser, Tony, all him. He's made Brentford a really good club. And Keith Andrews right now, I believe deep down, is just benefiting from Thomas Frank. He's going off what Thomas Frank has taught him and learned from him. And this is Frank's team that's succeeding right now. This is where they would have been, if not even higher, with Thomas Frank in charge. He's a great manager. He just needs time to prove it.
Hi, Nate.
To add to that, I mean, you have to look at what Frank had as regard resources when he's with Brentford, because people can say I don't know if he's an attack-minded manager. I mean, he did say when he first come in, if you don't take risks, you are at risk, right? Which seems a bit of a contradiction in terms now. But he stabilised Brentford with limited resources. Now he's at a bigger club where he's got more resources at his disposal, right? He should be able to do better if he's backed in the window. Then you can judge him. I don't think you can. I mean, I'm at Frank in because rinse and repeat, start again, give another new manager. How much time are you going to give him? We're going to keep doing this and doing this and doing this. If people in Spurs want to do this because they want ENIC out, I'm in agreement with you. Because 3 seasons ago, although I've been called a happy clapper and all this, and I'm a positive Spurs fan, it's because I knew that all those that clamour in desperation, let's get an investor, that would make the situation worse and would make ENIC's tenure even more secure. You need new owners at this football club. You don't need an investor. Take it from me, makes it worse. It would make it even harder to sell the club. ENIC would be laughing their head off, right? If they do get this investor in, I hope things turn around and they not only talk the talk but walk the walk on a transfer window. Because then, fine, I'll salute them for it. But if they don't, then we're going to be stuck with these owners for another 20 years, right? So, yeah, that's the way it is. I mean, so I'm franking. I don't want rinse and repeat. I also don't think this board, me and Ian disagree on this, which is fair enough. It's all about opinions. But I don't think they're going to embarrass themselves by appointing their first manager and sacking him after 5 or 6 months when they haven't yet spent a penny in the transfer window. So I think he's safe to the summer. But if he's backed in this window, if he is backed in this window, then he's got to show something between now and the summer, or he's gone. If he's not backed in the summer, well, then what? We sack him and more of the same? There'll be a lot of managers free after the World Cup, as there will be a lot of players as well available. But, I think, look, it's no good lancing a ball if you can't offer a solution, put a Band-Aid over it. You end up with the same thing. So, and us fans, we're very good at lancing balls, but we're not very good at offering solutions.
I'll give you my take on it, because when I'm hosting, I go on shows as a guest and I'm opinionated, but when I'm hosting, I tend to just try and do the Michael Parkinson bit and just put it out there and then let the guests do the talking. I wouldn't have sacked Ange. The biggest reason for sacking Ange was we finished 17th, and if we carry on Ange into this season, we'll be here in November looking at sacking the manager and starting all over again. So what's the point? Let's get a new manager in the summer. We got Thomas Frank, so that hasn't actually worked out very well. That narrative's been a complete and utter disaster. If we weren't keeping Ange, Thomas Frank for me wasn't the man. I wanted Ollie Glasner. They said they spoke to a number of people. It's not impossible that Glasner was spoken to and says no way. Let's face it, Daniel Levy poisoned the well something rotten at Tottenham Hotspur, and for even those of us that have been broadly supportive of the previous regime, there is no doubt that he has been an impediment to the progress of this football club on the field, and what he's done off the field doesn't matter unless you can get it on the field. I don't think Thomas Frank has demonstrated, though, that he's the man. The good debate between Jimmy and Harry over well, what has Frank done? Well, he's brought a small club, a tiny London club that was probably playing in the old third division when I was watching football as a boy, and he's turned them into a decent Premier League force. But he's done that by defensive solidity, by good organisation. What he doesn't do, in my opinion, is play Tottenham Hotspur football. The kind of to dare is to do football that we want. But what's a bigger worry for me is I don't know that he's capable of it. And when he comes out with these press conferences with some of these really negative comments about the club and about the players and about the fans, I think, one, I don't think you get it. I don't think you get what managing Tottenham is about. I don't know that you're capable of handling the kind of big name players that we're craving for us to sign. And I don't know that you've got the attacking foresight to put a team on the pitch that people want to pay money to go and watch. I wouldn't sack him tomorrow, although I think he's got a problem if he loses at Bournemouth, who are a decent side at home, and he loses in the FA Cup to Aston Villa. I think he could be that close from the fans really turning on him. That he was booed again at full time today. People pay a lot of money. I'm not a season ticket holder. I live in Scotland, but I will be down next week for the Villa game. People are being asked to pay, £1,000 plus to go and watch their club at home. And there's better things to do with your £1,000 than watch Thomas Frank's particular team. So I'm not sacking him now, far from it. But I wouldn't have appointed him, and I think he's got an awful lot to prove. An awful lot to prove.
Interesting.
Yeah, he's got to prove himself. This is why, but then he's also got to be backed in this window. I mean, there might be some light in the tunnel on the fact that Solanke's back on grass. I'd actually expect to see Solanke at Villa, at least on the bench against Villa. If it's just match fitness now, he'll be back. Kulu probably the end of the month. After maybe he might find himself in the away game at Frankfurt. If you're going to not risk players in giving up points in the league, which are, I mean, we're not in no fear of relegation or nothing like that. But if you want to stop the slide, you want a fully fit team out there. And if Kulu hasn't got his sharpness or Solanke, you play him in cup games. So you play him in the FA Cup or bring him off the bench in the FA Cup, or you play him against Dortmund at home on the 20th or Eintracht Frankfurt away, unless they really show something earlier, So there is some light at the end of the tunnel, but we're talking towards the end of this transfer window. And by that time, we better have signings in here.
No, Harry, I don't know if you want to knock off, just go, because it's fine. I know you're a busy young man, and it's way past your bedtime, and you'll be sent to your room with no tea again if you don't get off the computer. But I mean, if you've got time, would you answer that? Because obviously, after I'd done my little soliloquy there, I've gone back to look at the comments. And Ian, serious question: what's the point? We're back in the market. Results continue as bad as they have been, and he's gone in Feb, and we've just wasted a transfer window. I have to say, I think that's a bloody good question, and I don't have an obvious answer for it.
It is, yeah. I'll answer that before I go, if that's all right. Yeah, it's a good question. Thank you to Daniel firstly for raising it, and Happy New Year to you. It's a very serious question, and it does need addressing. I think he has right to be concerned about the performances so far, and Tottenham have prime expertise in wasting transfer windows. It would be nothing new. I can say in that we love to waste the window and back the wrong guy. And listen, as much as I don't like these owners, there's nothing worse than backing a manager that's wrong, right? And I get fans' frustration. They go, yeah, we know the problems are deeper, but what if Frank isn't the right man? I get that. I just think how bad we feel as a football club to get rid of someone after 4 or 5 months. Let's say Frank next goes to Man United, because the Amrin regime, that's really vulnerable at the moment. I think that's at risk of collapsing under our eyes in the next few weeks. Let's say he goes to Man United, wins trophies there or succeeds there. We look at it and go, that's what we could have had. We just make a decision very quickly. I think we made it right on Nuno, but let's say it was a different name in that time. We just need stability. Frank, look, listen, I loved Ange, right? And I hate the comparison. We needed stability after Ange. Frank brings that. He's sensible in game. Promise you we're seeing an attacking side when players come back. I mean, no doubt about that. I wouldn't say he's an attacking manager. I think he goes too far with how he says. And the problem is Frank is kind of a happy guy generally. So, when things like now, when he's speaking negatively, there's a problem, and that he's not getting the back in my eyes. He's a very positive guy. He will say how it is at times, but he'd be very positive. That's where he was similar to Ange. But the problem is he come into the club and said, yeah, bold, aggressive, high risk, pressing this, that. And he just went far too fast initially. What he should have gone is, look, this is how we want to play. We're going to be sensible after we finish. He just went boom, straight into it. Then he calmed down as the weeks went on. I think he's so excited by the job he in. As the weeks went by, he was like, actually, we need to be a bit more defensively calm. It was like a child that just got, new toys or something for Christmas. He went really big at the start. So, yeah, honestly, it's a really good question, and it's difficult to answer. What I would say is I think he deserves that benefit of the doubt, because right now we are not in a good place. But I promise you, we win the next 2 in a row, we find ourselves in the top 8. And that is where we ultimately want to be, fighting for European places. It's not disastrous, but we could and should be doing better. And hopefully that comes with time. Bodies come back. Madison and Kulu are a different side. No doubt about that.
Quick question for you before you go. And people, Adrian, you can come in on it when Harry's finished, and people in the chat. Is the job too big for Thomas Frank?
No, I think it's disrespectful to ask that. Again, I get concerns, but you can say it without any manager. For me, he's got very similar traits to Pochettino, and I think that's one of the greatest things to happen to the football club. And also one of the worst things. To get to the Champions League final is great, but a lot of entitlement since then, in terms of we should spend this, we should do this, we should achieve this. And it does frustrate me. But no, I don't buy that at all. I think he's achieved great things at Brentford. I'd argue to people like that, when do you become, like a big manager for a big club? You need experience at a big club, to prove that. And like I say, this is not a Tottenham problem. I'll say this lastly to go out on high. Sir Alex Ferguson, right? Great manager before my time of watching football, but a great manager. If he were to manage in the Premier League now, you wouldn't know who he was. He wouldn't get time to turn it around. And Tottenham are the prime example of that. Pull the trigger before you get an opportunity to turn it around. So I think we could have had so many things great at the football club, could have kicked on before the Champions League final, but we get trigger happy, we get greedy. We see get into finals of the Champions League. We see the Champions League trophy there, and we think, "Core, come on, then get you out of the way, manager. Let's bring someone in to deliver the trophy." And we just, again, like a spoiled child, and jump to conclusions very, very quickly. But again, I get people's concerns, but I think give Frank time. We should never be judging a manager 4 months in within reason. What's happened to giving a manager a season or two, then making the right decision? United got to a point now they probably realise that Amrin isn't the right manager. I just, I know, again, people say, look, yes, as well, Brentford and Spurs, different expectations. I totally agree that, but Brentford have got some better players than us. They're not as bad as some people make out. And absolutely, I believe, I don't do my talking, well, I believe in doing the talking on the pitch. That's what I believe, and Frank will do that with time. But right now, some of the players we have out is it's just insane. Right? Every club has injuries. This is on the hierarchy, by the way. This is not an excuse. This is an explanation. And also, isn't it, and a complete frustration at the board above. Players like Xavi Simons, who's now suspended, Bergwijn, who's just come back, Maddison, Kulusevski, Solanke, Basuma. These are all key players. I know Basuma's not this season, but he's still a big player. I tell you what, they'd make a difference right now with his ball carrying skills and what he can bring into midfield if he was a little bit more sensible and in favour. But the point is, I just didn't give him time to turn it around. I just don't think it's the right thing to do, Ian, to be trigger happy all the time. It's got us in the mess in the first place, sacking managers. Give them some time, back them. It's the right thing to do.
But it also shows that we didn't have enough strength in depth to cope with those injuries as well, which is
we knew that at the time. That's the frustrating thing.
And the thing is, someone mentioned earlier about, if Frank stays and we get players in for him and all, and ruin it, we've wasted a window. Hang on, it doesn't work like that. We're out on so many podcasts. All signings at any football club are club signings. We've got Rob McKenzie in charge of a 10-man recruitment team of coaches. Then you've got Vinay Venkatesham. Then you've still got
Adrian, I'm going to stop you. Sorry, because Harry's messaged me. He needs to go. Harry, just quickly, you've made can I thank you? You made a phenomenal contribution to what has been a really tremendous show. It wasn't what I anticipated, but it has. It's been I think it's not for me to say it's been a great show. I suppose I'm hosting, but the chat's just been the banter on here. Where can people find you if they want to get more of your opinions and your guests' opinions?
Firstly, Happy New Year to you all. And listen, there are people in the comments that will disagree with me for strongly and some slightly, and a lot of people as well that just won't agree with what I'm saying, and I understand that. I would say that I just want what's best of my football club right now, and I'm just frustrated with how we act upstairs, and I just think we just need to be patient. And I believe in being positive, backing the team, and hoping we can turn this around. Everyone's entitled, of course, to their opinion, but I'm not trying to force it down anyone as well. I just believe in that just a little bit patient approach, and my modern era is all about trophies. It's all about greed and hunger, and let's see success quickly, right? We could be building the motorway. If it's not done by tomorrow morning, I'm not interested, and I don't like that. It doesn't represent me. It represents my generation, but not me. I just believe in being patient in anything, especially football. Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it. You can follow, thank you. You can follow me at HarryScarf22 across all socials. My own YouTube channel handles there at HarryScarf22 is the new branding. So if you want to, you can check that out. Tottenham content, Premier League content is a mainly Tottenham-based channel, but it's not just me and my deluded opinions. Get a load of other people on. But I'll just say lastly that my mission has always been from day one and will always be now to give my platform, give people opportunities with learning disabilities, to give them that kind of opportunity, that voice. And I've given now over 130 people with different learning and physical disabilities an opportunity. And as someone who's autistic myself, it does mean a lot, and it was a big driver for me to set up the channel. So 2025 was a big year for me. I could focus on awards and things like that, but the biggest thing that touches me is the amount of incredible people that come on. There's so many people that want to have a say, but either don't have the confidence, don't have the platform, or just need a little bit of encouragement. And honestly, I've had so many amazing people on that I've collaborated with, a lot planned as well, but I really enjoy coming on shows like this as well. But that's, I could talk about myself, but it honestly isn't about me. It's about incredible people. In the chat, for example, incredible.
I've been telling Harry for a long time that he's got a massive future in broadcasting. I think he's an absolute natural. I think he's a brilliant host. He's a brilliant guest. He's got good opinions. He's articulate. He's intelligent. And your disability will not hold you back, not in this day and age in particular. And you're good enough. You're better than so many more people that haven't had your disadvantage. So keep working, Harry, because I expect I expect to be seeing you hosting major television, national television stations
No pressure.
before
No
too
pressure.
long.
No pressure.
Genuinely, keep working
Thank
at it.
you.
Don't forget
will
us.
you will, yeah. You got to pay You got to play in 100 pubs to 2 men and a dog before suddenly you get discovered and you're playing the Albert Hall. You keep at
Honestly,
it, Harry. You've been
I love
brilliant
coming on
tonight.
here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so
We're
much.
cheap as
Really
well. We're
enjoyed it.
cheap.
All right.
Yeah, exactly. Have a great one. Cheers, guys.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Harry.
thanks for coming.
Thank you
coming.
so much. Big up to the chat. Happy New Year, guys.
Take care. We're up to 170 nearly in the chat.
Well, there are
people coming on and what have you. Please, for Adrian, you plug us and you plug the channel where people can grab us, can find us and like and subscribers and everything.
Like, guys, thank you for the 170 you watch us on various platforms. Like Ian said, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, you can see the subscribe button in the bottom right hand corner. It only takes a second, guys, to subscribe. Please give the videos a thumbs up. It helps the algorithm, helps us bring better content out to you. We do memberships, £2 a month. If anyone wants to take the membership up, fine as well. We have a big Facebook channel. Pretty, we can't get them over here for some reason, but people seem to be settled in one particular platform and don't move. You know, we've got 14,700 on a Facebook channel, 3,000 on XCOM. You know, we've got a WhatsApp group as well, Spurs Diehards WhatsApp group, which if any of you want to guest on the show, you're more than welcome. If you're mature and sensible, you know, everyone's welcome to come on the show, but we do need your phone number to add you to WhatsApp. Then the only secure ways of really doing that are through XCOM private messaging or through Facebook private messaging, because that way it's safe if you want to come on. Like I say, our shows go out every Tuesday, Friday and Sunday. Times vary a bit. Normally Tuesdays now, if I'm doing a Tuesday show, if there's enough content to go with a Tuesday show,
I was going to suggest we do a show Wednesday night after the Bournemouth game.
Fine. I've got, just for the moment, I can't recall what day the Bournemouth game is.
It's Wednesday. It's definitely Wednesday.
It's Wednesday.
Yeah.
So, well then,
just a thought.
Yeah, after the show. Yeah, as it's an away game. Yeah, why not? We can change that to Wednesday.
I can do it. I can do the show Wednesday.
Right. Okay. That's two of us, which is enough. We'll see what guests we can get.
Yeah.
See if I can get James on. Yeah. So yeah, I lost my thread a little bit there.
All right.
Yeah. So guys, I mean, like, come on, hit that subscribe button. It helps us, and give the channel a thumbs up. It helps the algorithm. And we thank you for your support. Like I say, it's fantastic to have 166 of you here. I mean, Ian varies the times on Sundays. He either goes at 8 o'clock or up to 9:30, no later. Tuesday or Wednesday shows usually 9 o'clock, but if it's after a game, it's going to be about 10:15 or whatever it is. So that might only be a short show for half hour because people got work. Friday's show, we try to cater for an American audience. So that goes out. I host that now. It goes out at 10 o'clock UK time. Bit late for some of you, maybe not so late for some of you. I don't know. We don't know what regions you're watching or what part of the world you're watching from. So with that, big thanks to everyone in the chat for your questions and your comments. A big thanks to everyone watching on every platform. And back to you, Ian. There are little bits about the transfer window to talk about.
Yeah, I don't want to go. I don't want to overplay our hand today. It's been such a good show. There's so many people watching, and I don't know if Tom or Gary or Callum are around and they want to come on. If not, well, there'll be plenty of other opportunities. But let's talk about one or two other things, because you know when you get in that. I mean, Harry was absolutely fantastic tonight.
Yeah.
But, when you get in the comments, we're getting. In the chat as well. There's so much interaction. It's worth carrying on. Dragusin rumours that he's going to Italy. We know we got a problem with his agent who opens his mouth before he opens his brain. But I've done that. Has that gone again?
Flora Manea, yeah, he can't try. He's tried to sell him since he's come to this football club. Personally, on Dragusin, I think the reason why he's gone out on loan. I mean, Frank will have a look at him now. He's back training on the bench, so he's obviously fit to play. So he's looking like fourth choice centre back. Davis played at fullback today, and we may need him to play at fullback again this season. So I think Dragusin may get a run out against Villa or come on a sub against Villa. I mean, you've got to give him game time sooner or later. I mean, he did have a good Euros before we brought him in. Then he played for us, and it was mixed. He did well, he did badly. He got sent off. He got caught out of position. What I've seen him is he's quick. He's very good in the air, but he's very tall. So we haven't seen enough of him to throw him under the bus. But at the same time, the club see enough of him in training so that they can judge a player in training. And if they don't think he's the right fit for us, he will be moved on. I don't see us moving him on because we don't know. I think it's a wait till the end of the season, see what's happening with Vuskovic as well. And then because then you've got Vuskovic, Dragerson and Danso, haven't you? Which tells you why Phillips is on loan and Watakai is on loan, Ian, really. We're not short of centre-backs. So if we're linked with any centre-backs in the media, ignore them because they're just going to be, that's just that BS, clickbait. Yeah, so
well, we're only going to be buying another centre half if we're letting Dragerson go, and I just don't see the point in letting.
Well, if he was left-footed like an Evan and Dicker or someone like that, I could understand it. But if we and someone who could play at left back that could play rather than not a left-footed centre back that can play a left back, rather a left back that could play as left-footed centre back is what we really want if that was the case. But I don't think so. Look, we know in the transfer window we know what we need. We need a left back. We need a left-sided midfielder, a ball-carrying, creative, dynamic left-sided midfielder. We're going to bring one in, and we need a left winger. No matter what managers at this football club here, and they're the positions we know we need to fill. Will we? Who knows?
I mean, if I had a magic wand, an unlimited supply of money, or I could just hypnotise the players for 10 minutes to sign on the dotted line, you'd bite my hand off for those two, wouldn't you?
Yeah, and Diamondi's only 19 at Leipzig, but he's a beast and he's smashing it in the Bundesliga. I don't know how much would they want for him. I think they'd want. I mean, there's talk of
$8 million
no
or
one's
something
that
like
money
that.
for a 19-year-old. I mean, there was one report I read that he would like to come, of course, because he's going to quadruple his wages if he comes to Spurs straight away, and he's going to be playing in the Premier League, and he's going to get a chance at Champions League football because no foreign players coming unless they're in that group going to get picked for the ECL squad.
Yeah.
So, Walton, we'd all take Walton, wouldn't we? He's not moving in this window, is he? Diamandi,
I wouldn't have thought so.
Nah. I mean, Diamandi, I reckon if you offered them 50 mil, they would take it, Leipzig. I think they would take it, but I think they'd do business, but maybe they wouldn't. Maybe they wouldn't. Maybe they'd want about 60 million euros or something like that. I don't know. This is the thing about January.
We keep being told there's money. I mean, when they say there's 200 million to spend, that doesn't mean that's 4 50 million pound players. That's 150 million, say, of down payments on players.
Well, we were willing to spend 70 million on Savino. We won't pay that now for him, and we didn't spend it. Then they injected 100 mil. That's 170. Then you've got, all right, you don't get paid at once, 30 odd million for Johnson. So we probably got about 200 million to spend. And the problem is like getting the players in. Now, the only real, and this story's been going for a couple of days now, but this comes from the boy Hotspur, right? So when we're going to quote you, we're not just going to throw names at you guys in the chat, and come across as like some clickbait, channel. But there are this rumour's gaining a bit of gravitas that Spurs are in advanced talks for West Ham to get Paqueta. Football club. We wanted him before. I like the player. I don't. Do you fans like him in the chat? He's 28. They're talking 26 mil, which isn't a fortune, but he's got no sell-on value.
Is he a needle mover? That's what worries me. We've got buying players now that make us better. I mean, Kudos, I probably say made us better. Not made us better enough, but made us better. Do we not need needle movers?
Well, the point is the situation we are with creative players. He would carry the ball mid forward. He's creative, he's feisty like South Americans are, right? But I would take him. But I mean, it's like all players when Spurs fans, they're always mixed about it. At least he's proven Premier League, Ian. He's proven Premier League. So that isn't a worry about. I mean, I would sooner bring in Aklouche of Monaco, 23-year-old who played very well against us. I like that kid, right? But and he'd probably be double the price. So it'd probably be 40 to 50 mil, whatever it is. But then he's got longevity. Paqueta about 26 mil, and West Ham would take the money. So I don't know if there's been ruptions there with him and that at all. You know,
Tom's talking about Paqueta there.
Yeah, I like the player. We were interested in him from before. Like, this isn't new, but I mean, like, I like the player. But if I had a choice of Akluush, I would take Akluush because he's younger, he's got longevity. You know, if you're going to get Paqueta, you're going to get him on a 3-year contract, probably till he's 31, maybe with an option of a year or two on top. A 2-year option seemed to be the norm. That's what we did with Xavi, wasn't it? We gave him a 2-year option. First time we've done that at the end of his contract. Yeah, so I would take him. He would help us out now. And I actually think then he's got to fight for his place because he'd be fighting to get in a Brazil squad in the summer. So he improves us. Ryan likes him. I mean,
there's a few like him. I mean, I like him. I mean, I agree. There's a comment there about he's a bit of a hothead having him.
Yeah, but you want that in a player, Ian, because players like that are winners. I like aggressive.
A little bit of lightning. Yeah, a little bit of lightning.
I mean, people going about Romero. Hang about. A lot of hype about Romero's wrong. All right, he's picked up 9 yellow cards and he got sent off recently. But his last sending off was when? Do you know in the chat? It was 2 years ago. He's had two sendings off with a 2-year break between them. You know, so I mean, I'm a big fan of Romero, though, so I'll state my bias. Well, no others are.
But Romero should have been sent off in both games against Brentford.
Well, we were due a bit of luck.
We've had this discussion.
Yeah.
I mean, Paqueta is gettable. The money is negligible, and Tom. I mean, I actually forgot that Tom's 100% right. He was very close to being a Manchester City player before before the betting scandal hit, and of course, all bets were off then.
Well, the boy hotspot's not everyone's favourite cup of tea with some of his reports.
No.
You don't come out and say advanced talks if this hasn't gained gravity.
Yeah. I haven't heard it from
and to be fair, guys in the chat and everywhere who's listening for us, you know, I mean, you would think, wouldn't you, that our recruitment team have been going around, if they've knocked on Brown's door, Aklush's door, at least if these clubs, players or agent turned and said, no, we've moved on. You'd think they would have been working well before this transfer window opened, right? Otherwise, what are they doing the rest of the year? They must be compiling lists of players and data and everything like that. So if we don't get players in, I mean, I will be having a rant on this because we'll do a review of the transfer window. We will do one. I'm sure every other podcast will as well.
If we don't get some serious players in, there'll be. But the ENIC aren't stupid; they would know that. Yildiz is another one that keeps being mentioned, and he's one of the ones that worries me. That
is he
a quality player like that will not want to come to Tottenham. That's what really worries me.
He wants 160k a year at Juve.
It was 5 million a year. It was just 100,000 a week. It's stupid 100,000 a week because let's be honest.
I've seen that, and I've seen it also. I think it's 5 million. I think I also heard it was like 160k a week or whatever it is. Well, whatever it is, anyway, we can pay that, right? And Juve are skint anyway. So, and he is a talent. I would take him or Diamandi and Diamandi of Leipzig. I'll take either of these two tomorrow, right? Either of them, right? But yeah, Daniel, yeah, probably no chance. Depends if he loves life in Italy. He might be just trying to squeeze. No, there's a lot of interest trying to squeeze what he can out of Juventus, and he may sign for less than the 5 mil. Apparently, Juventus are looking to cut their wage structure because they're struggling like all Italian teams are with money. So, like, you know, Paratici, you should be getting his deals done then, yeah? You signed a 2-year contract. I'll be disappointed if he goes to Fiorentina. He's on a 2-year contract. Let's get compensation, see if they pay it. They've got Solomon off of us on loan or whatever. But we should be looking at Italy. I think that's rich pickings there.
It's a pity we're losing Paratici from that market without an apparent successor. The Manchester City guy, though, if he's coming, that seems to have gone quiet. But if he's coming, that's
well. You look at if Savino's injured, if they say he's injured, but when you look at, we were supposed to be in for Marmoush as well. But remember, they've got Doko, they've got Ryan Cherky, they've got Phil Foden, they'll get Semenyo, they've got Marmoush. I don't think they're going to let him go because if anything happens to Haaland, they've got no one up front really. So if Savino was fit, I think we would be there. But now he's injured. It's no good to us. No good to us now. So, but they're not short of quality players. So there was talk of Oscar Bob then, weren't they? But he's got a history of injuries as well, Oscar Bob. So
yeah,
they've got more than enough. They could sell a few, but as they're challenging for the title, I think they want to keep everyone they've got. You know, and so would we if we were in their position, if that ever happens.
Yeah. Okay. Last player. And again, it's not something that I've heard anything about this window. I did in the summer. Oh, that's got the 10-second thing on it. Is this player. And I'm hearing, one, we still want him. But secondly, Aston Villa at some point are going to have to sell him because of their, profit and sustainability regs. I can't see it. I can't see Villa letting him go. I can't see him letting him go this window.
If he was available, he's not coming to us anyway. He'd be going somewhere.
You'd have thought he'd have gone somewhere bigger, wouldn't you?
He'd be going somewhere bigger. He'd be going to Liverpool, even Arsenal, Chelsea, whatever, Man United. He wouldn't be coming to us. So, look, we've got a Morgan. Well, I mean, like Bergvall plays on the left for us. What's he going to do? Be dropped again? I mean, like, all right. Rodgers has done very well since he's come on the scene. But, Bergvall hopefully will turn into be the fantastic player we think he's going to be on the left-hand side for us. So, yeah, Morgan Rodgers is not coming to us.
Before I wrap this up, is there anybody in the chat that has got any information on a player that they've heard substantively that we are linked with, we might be going for? Because I've gone through, and in fairness, I had Gary and Callum on the show last Monday. It might just have been Callum on Monday, I can't remember now. Going through, and there's like nothing has moved at all, other than players going out the door. I've heard nothing at all of players coming in. And it's been eerily quiet. Although I will say one thing is that sometimes when we've made some of our biggest signings, they've been completely under the radar. You've heard absolutely zilch.
And bearing in mind,
bearing in mind being one of the best of them.
Bearing in mind that through 4 weeks of a January transfer window, or the 12 weeks of the summer transfer window, you rarely get any news during the weekends on those periods. Tomorrow probably will be linked with every man and his dog.
Well, yeah, that's anyone. Hang on. Sousa. People are saying Sousa. Yeah, we covered Sousa earlier. We did cover Sousa earlier. Someone said he had like 80 million buyout clause. I think they're confusing him with a different player.
He may well do that.
Gary, we did mention that.
Yeah,
8 million, if that's apparently rejected. I don't think he's got an 80 million. But as I say, I mentioned that, Gary, in context that we've also been linked with Nathaniel Brown. And I think with the best will in the world, I'd rather have Nathaniel Brown than a 19-year-old. We don't need more 19-year-olds.
No.
But anyone got anything else? Because otherwise, I say
all we've got is this here.
I'm going to wrap up.
These are the fixtures coming up, and they don't look too frightening, guys, do they? I mean, like, not the Burnley and West Ham game anyway.
Oh.
So
and Dave from Everton. I haven't seen. I've heard rumours. I don't know about you, Adrian. I've heard rumours, but I've not seen anything from Jimmy. Jimmy's just won Jimmy, you win the prize tonight.
Yeah,
I imagine everybody was watching our game
tonight.
We
goal scorers. We don't want goal scorers. We've got rid of our 4 goal scorers from last season have gone or injured, and Johnson, Madison, Kulusevski. Solanke, they're gone, and some went. So we don't want goal scorers at this football club. You know what I mean?
Jimmy, give your head a wobble. We've got rid of Son. We've got rid of Kane. We've had people giving Solanke kicks in the night. We've got rid of Kulusevski, and now we've got rid of Johnson. So enough now, you know. We certainly don't want a goal scorer back in the squad. Yeah, I haven't heard anything about. I mean, he's a good player, but I haven't heard anything about that.
You want players. I mean, you get this in the Premier League. A player has one good season. I mean, we used to say Harry Kane was a one-season wonder, but he went on to prove he wasn't, right? But Ndiaye, you know, you need a second season behind him, really. And then you know if he scores goals. So,
all right. We've gone for nearly 2 hours. Said I would, but we've gone for nearly 2 hours.
Been good.
We've had 160 odd of you in the chat. We're over 170 at one point. So, look, thank you, everybody. Harry, obviously Harry's gone, but what a contribution he makes, and what a contribution he makes to every show he does and his own shows. And do try and follow him online. He's an absolutely young up and coming talent, not just for YouTube, but I think in broadcasting for the future. Adrian, I think we will go out on Wednesday night. Does that seem sensible?
Yeah, that seems fine. And Ian will play you with his soul music.
Yeah, I'm going down to see the old girl on Wednesday afternoon, so I'll catch the game, and then she'll be long in bed. So I'm happy to do a show on Wednesday night.
Yeah.
So people enjoyed it. Look, thanks. Yeah, please, if you haven't already liked and subscribed the channel, please do. It really does help us to get 170 odd of you on a Sunday night when we haven't been brilliant. Is absolutely fantastic, and hopefully you find the shows entertaining as well, which is why you keep coming back for more. Thanks, Adrian. Thanks to all of you in the chat.
Yeah, big up to the chat and everyone watching.
Yeah, let's hope for a better couple of games and be in the fourth round of the FA Cup as well. Take
Happy
care.
New Year, and come on, you Spurs.
And come on, you Spurs. I will see you I'll see you next Sunday. Time to be advised. Take care, guys.
We are Tottenham diehards. Something I can't explain. We follow through sun and rain. When we lose, we don't complain. Yes, we do, oh, we do. But Tottenham Hotspur, till I die. We follow through sun and rain. When we lose, we don't complain. Yes, we do, we do. But Tottenham Hotspur, we follow through sun and rain. When we